Hey everybody, Samsara here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share with you an arrangement of clips from Global Energy Metals Corporation's webinar. I've arranged these clips to make the content much more consumable for members of ABTC's Discord community. However, anyone with an interest in electrification and mineral independence in the US will find this information useful. I'm personally an advocate for sustainable battery material production in the US, and I have a small position in GEMC. With that disclaimer out of the way, I hope you find this content helpful. If you have any questions or would like to become a member of the Discord community, please check out the link in the comments below. In the first segment, Mitchell Smith, the CEO of GEMC, gives us a background on the company and its core pillars. He also talks about partnerships and their development with ABTC. Then, he turns it over to Timothy Strong. Tim is the project development manager for the exploration side of the house. He gives us an update on the status of the Lovelock mine and treasure box, and its partnership status with ABTC.
So for those of you who are unfamiliar or are new to Global Energy Metals, we built this company to act as an investment vehicle, providing our shareholders exposure to the increasing demand for battery metals that are really critical in powering the electrification movement. We're doing this through a growing portfolio of battery metal projects in safe, pro-mining jurisdictions that are in close proximity to infrastructure, workforce, and probably most importantly to the end-use regional markets. And we're doing that on three continents and 4 countries: Canada, the United States, Australia, and Norway as well. As mentioned, Global Energy really provides our shareholders exposure to battery metals and the overall electrification megatrend. And we're doing that through a 3-pillar growth strategy. And that's really based on project acquisition and monetization. It's on exploration and development, and it's also on peer collaboration. This is a proven strategy and one that we feel gives our shareholders a diversified approach to not only the sector, the commodities and jurisdictions, but it also minimizes dilution and also risk. So acquisitions really represent an ongoing effort by our company to assemble projects in key areas as part of the new energy economy. And again, we're doing that in top-tier mining jurisdictions with both exploration and development upside. Sourcing and developing materials for battery production is something that is certainly key to our strategy, and we've done a number of these over the past several weeks. We were able to take a strategic interest in the Rana Nickel project in Norway, which is an emerging battery manufacturing hub. This is a project that represents one of the few drill-ready, low capex Class 1 nickel opportunities globally. Has very strong mining potential and some exploration upside as well. So I'm also excited to report on another one of our pillars, strategy pillars of the company, and that's on these strategic partnerships that are providing abilities for us to advance multiple verticals, and really in doing so enhance shareholder value and market attractiveness. The first one that I'll mention is really a partnership that further endorses the potential of our Millennium Cobalt Copper project in Queensland, Australia. We recently welcomed the opportunity to partner with a group that's ASX listed called Metal Bank. So they're going to fund through an exclusive option to earn in and joint venture with us on a phased work program at Millennium. And it really presents as an opportunity for successful exploration and development of what we consider to be a very highly prospective battery metal project in in a very good mining jurisdiction in Queensland, Australia. And something that I'm really excited about is something that we've been working on for a long time. And I've been saying that to people I've been speaking to lately, that it's not every day that you get to really partner with people who have held executive leadership roles with top organizations such as Tesla and Facebook and Apple, and who've come together over the course of the last little while to answer the demand for skyrocketing battery technology. And this is exactly what we just did with our latest partnership with American Battery Technology Company. They're a US listed company. Their ticker is ABML. And we're very excited to be working with individuals like Ryan Melser, who again, he led the research and development on battery application with Tesla. So we have an arrangement with them that we're supplying raw material from our Lovelock and Treasure Box projects in Nevada, and that's going to undergo ABTC's in-house procedure for developing a new first-of-kind process for producing battery cathode-grade nickel and cobalt metal sulfates. So, we're very excited about this. It aligns really nicely with the exploration program that we have underway right now in Nevada at Lovelock, and we also see this as a much bigger picture opportunity in that it's a really important step to transforming a much needed security of supply of minerals that can play a really important role in strengthening North America's push for mineral independence. There's been a lot of emphasis lately on creating a more regional supply of material out of North America, and this certainly fits with both the Canadian and U.S. government's push to do so. So definitely encourage you to follow this and follow American Battery Technology Company as well. As I think you'll agree that they're a very exciting company to partner with.
A couple of people have asked you to elaborate a bit more on the American Battery Metal Partnership and just kind of how you see that developing. When do you think you might expect your first batch of extracted minerals for processing and then evaluating as well?
Sure. Yeah, and not to speak on behalf of American Battery, but they've been developing for the past 2 years and evaluating opportunities within sedimentary resources to evaluate brines. They developed a first-of-kind process that were specifically targeted at these type of lithium-bearing resources, and they've now recognized that nickel and copper are certainly very important to domestic production of those materials and are strategic. So they entered into this agreement with us, and they're going to undergo a very similar type of procedure in developing this new first-of-kind process for processing battery cathode-grade nickel and cobalt metal from our projects in Nevada. So, and I think what's exciting about that is they're going to be able to use that information and to be able to market it to groups that they're partnering with that are on the end use side of the industry, to show that there's an opportunity for their process and our material to be used in the end market space. In terms of providing material, we've actually already provided them with samples. It's in their it's with them in Nevada at their labs. They're undergoing the process now. We'd expect to use some of the material that we're going to be drilling over the course of the next couple of weeks, and also provide them with some samples from that, especially some of the deeper material. So, we think there's a real opportunity to work alongside them, and this is an ongoing partnership. This isn't just one-off. It's something that we were keen to work with them for some time. So now I'll pass the floor to Tim, who's going to provide you with all the exciting things that are happening at our projects, what to expect in the coming weeks, and why now is really the time to be in Global Energy Metals before results from these programs are released. With a tight share structure, around 45% of it is held by insiders, many of which are in voluntary escrow. And we think there's really an opportunity right now for the share price to appreciate on this anticipated news that's coming out, the catalysts, and really the increased market awareness that's going to happen in the weeks and months ahead. So, Tim, it's all yours.
Appreciate it. As Mitch said, we're currently working on 3 continents in 4 countries: the US, Canada, Norway, and Australia. We're currently active in the US through our projects in Nevada and also Idaho, and also with our partners Metal Bank in Queensland, Australia. The first project I want to talk about is the Lovelock mine and the Treasure Box project in Nevada. This is a bit of a special project for us because it's one that we're advancing solely on our own, and we are currently doing the maiden drill program for this project. As many of you will know, there's a bit of a labor shortage and a drill rig shortage in the Western US right now, so it took us a little longer than anticipated, but we managed to get in before the snow. We have 1,000 meters planned through 4 holes at the Lovelock mine. If I move to the next slide, you'll see that this is the first ever drill testing of this historic mine. The mine, for those of you that don't know it, reported grades of 14% cobalt and 12% nickel back in the early 1900s. The raw ore was shipped from California straight across to the UK. That's how valuable it was at the time. Mitchell and myself were out there last week, and we saw for ourselves, the extent of the underground workings that already exist there, and just the sheer amount of oxide material that is all over the place. I often tell people that the floor is carpeted in green from the malachite and the azurite. It's quite an impressive sight, and not one that you get to see very often. So over the past 2 years or so, we've conducted drone magnetics and ground IP over the project, as well as underground mapping and sampling. And this was the basis for our current drill program. As I said, with the lack of availability of drill rigs, etc., we've cut the program down to 1,000 meters. And what that means for us is we're drilling the four best holes. If I can draw your attention to the image in the bottom right, it's a little zoomed out. I apologize for that. But the Lovelock mine workings are in this area, and we're drilling 3 250-meter holes underneath those workings in a fan to try and understand the structural orientation and obviously repeat that high-grade mineralization that was previously found on the project, as well as hopefully targeting the underlying sulfide body. The 4th hole, is located here on a chargeability high, which again we think could be an extension of the system. Again, we're gonna drill that towards the structural orientation and hope that again we hit the sulfides there. The project, I think, has a really large scope to be expanded, and obviously once we've conducted these first 4 drill holes, we will get a much better understanding of the geology, the orientation of the mineralization, the style of the mineralization, and then use that to step out and expand the drill program. To the south of the workings, there are further geophysical anomalies that need to be tested, as well as really far to the north. having taken a walk down south of the Lovelock mine last week, past a historic mine called Bolivia and another one called the Nickel Mine, just the sheer scale of mineralization that can be seen right from surface is extremely impressive. And we hope as time goes on and after the success of this drill program, we'll be able to expand, have a second drill program, third drill program, and develop this into a resource pretty quickly. If I show you the next slide, here you can see some of the terrain. There's the drill rig set out on pad 4, and this image here is the old Lovelock workings. You can see various adits where the old-time miners were working, and then this sort of material here is what we see all over the ground, underneath the ground. The walls in the adits are covered in copper oxide, cobalt oxide, and nickel oxide. It's extremely impressive. Obviously, the current drill program focuses on the Lovelock project, but just along strike is the Treasure Box project, which we cannot drill on this program due to the access with the current rig that we're using. But previous results from the project at Treasure Box have included 1.5% copper over 85 feet and 40 feet at 1.5% copper. And these drill holes were approximately 1 to 1.5 kilometers away from each other. The mineralization appears along a contact between the ultramafic rocks, and the overlying younger volcanics, and we can trace that boundary between the two drill holes. So it's quite exciting to be able to go in there, hopefully early next year once the snow melts off, in order to drill that. And I'm under the belief that we could build up a good sized resource there without too much effort. So that, looking towards the future at both Lovelock and Treasure Box, we anticipate a lot more drilling in Q1, Q2 of 2022, and hopefully we can look at getting some level of resource on those projects as soon as possible.
And maybe a question for Tim, in regards to Lovelock and Treasure Box, any feel for what types of deposits those are, and what are other global analogous deposits to those?
Yeah, sure. So look, we believe that the Treasure Box deposit is an IOCG type deposit, probably structurally controlled, and then the Lovelock deposit is more of a late exhalative event, probably associated with that at Treasure Box. In terms of other projects worldwide, I think I've mentioned before on a few of these webinars that the IOCG model is so wide and open that it really could be anything. Like for me, Nevada, you think Carlin type, you think epithermals, you think shear hosted gold. There's no reason why this isn't just a shear hosted base metal deposit that's come through fractures and a pure just exhalative event. But I think, as far as the label goes, I think we're quite happy with IOCG. We see iron oxide, copper and gold, as well as cobalt and nickel. So I think I'm quite happy with that until we've done some further investigation.
Yeah, I mean, can you think of some specific examples, that of an IOCG that look like Treasure Box?
I actually can't off the top of my head, because I think what we see here is pretty special. I think the amount of mineralization on surface here, and it's not locked up in an iron oxide cap as you typically see in IOCG deposits. I think it's something that we can't necessarily apply a model to right now.
Bet I'll pass it back to Mitch to close us, and you know, maybe kind of highlight some catalysts that maybe we should look out for in the next 6-8 months.
Yeah, I won't even go that far out because there's going to be so many catalysts over the next few weeks with all the results, the drilling, these new partnerships that we've entered into. There's going to be a tremendous amount of news flow. I'd certainly again emphasize that battery metals trade has sent other names in the space really to some lofty valuations, and the market's yet to really catch up to our potential. So we're still, I would say, at a very attractive valuation for entry for participants, and welcome anybody to ask any questions they may have. Email, phone, Twitter, social media. Please connect with us, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone.